Kyle coming at you with another maintenance minute here. Check this out. We're doing some suspension work today. The Moog Problem Solver series. And there's the truck we're working on. 2012 Chevy Silverado. 6.2 four-wheel drive. We're going to do these tie rods on both sides and walk you through how to do that. Got to get the truck up in the air here. Alright, so grab the tire 9 and 3 to check tie rods, and if you want to check your wheel bearings, grab 12 and 6, but we need to see from the backside while I wiggle on the 9 and 3. You guys are watching right here at this tie rod end while I wiggle. We got a little bit of looseness side to side, but that's not too concerning. I don't hear any clunking. It looked a little bit loose, so I grabbed the pliers and listen to this. Yeah, that's too loose for my liking. We got to take this nut off to get the outer tie rod out, and then we'll disconnect it here from the inner tie rod. We're going to go ahead and just leave the tires on for this. Make our life a little easier. You just got to get it out of the steering knuckle there. Pretty easy. So that's pretty loose. But the bigger issue is, look at this. This is our inner tie rod, and it connects into the rack over here. That is really floppy. That's no good. So it's not too hard here. We just have our outer tie rod. This is a little locking nut that locks the outer tie rod to the inner tie rod, and that's how you're going to set your toe, so you can spin this in or out if you need to. Then you got your boot. We're going to take the boot little connector off there. That'll be fairly simple. And then you come over here to the rack side, and this boot has a little metal ring on it that you got to cut off, and the new one should have a ring in there to replace, or if not, we got a couple of ways to work around that. There you go. Got a good look at this inner tie rod here and how loose it is. So all we got to do is just remove it from the rack now, and we should be in business. Alright, got it all the way loose. That part comes out there. We'll have to clean those threads up just a little bit to get the old Loctite out. But close up here. Again, very loose. That side as well. So inner and outer tie rods on this were completely shot. Well, I thought I ordered a new boot, and I checked all my parts boxes. Do not have a new boot. Which means we do have to separate the inner and outer tie rod, which is unfortunate because I was hoping to just match them up in length. But you know what? We're going to go ahead and do that anyways by painting the threads, removing the boot, taking the outer off, and then putting it back on and matching the new one to fit. Gander in here now. This is how I do it. Okay? Just because I got to go back up to that paint line after I get them off. Once you get everything broken loose, count how many times it takes you to get this little end piece off. How many revolutions? That's 1. 2. Had a little camera snafu there. I don't know what happened. But I got the boot off. I put the nut back on. I had to take it off, take the boot off, put it back onto our paint line. Now I'm going to assemble these back together so I can use them as a reference on the new one and make sure we have the same length. Get us close enough. Count how many times you're going on now. We had 17 off, so we should have 17 on. Here's the old part. Here's my new Moog parts. And just for comparison, these are much more difficult to move. Very tight. I'll have to grease it. Don't let me forget. Here's that inner one. Much tighter. So we're hoping these will last us another 100,000 miles or so. These Moog parts come with the thread locker already on the threads there, so I want to make sure you have thread locker on those though before you put it on. So if it doesn't come with it, go ahead and just grab some. That should be close. And 17 turns should get us right about where we want to be. 1, 2, 3. So 17 turns on this, and we are about lined up there. But notice the shanks are different sizes, and then there's different size threaded portion on these. But if you come over to this side, those are pretty much lined up on that side too, so I am going to call that close enough for the tape measure alignment. And the installation should be pretty straightforward, just to reverse the removal. Just Vinny D on this one. Living your life quarter turn at a time. What an exhausting way to be. And then the torque spec on these is just really snug, you know, just really just get her on there, you know. You don't want this coming apart on you when you're going down the roadway, you know. So just, I guess what I'm saying is you can use a torque wrench, but we're just gonna spec it to Kyle's strength, and that should get her. Even throw a couple of rapid taps on there. Now we're almost done. Just got to connect that to the knuckle, put our boot on, grease zerk, and shoot her full of grease. We'll be good to go. This one's got the castellated nut. The other one just had a regular nut. So we'll use a cotter pin on here. And again, torque spec on this is just going to be about as tight as I want to make it without stripping the bolt out, you know? You guys comment below and tell me, how tight do you make these? It'd be nice if I can get my ratchet on there, but I'm too lazy to take the dang tire off. What do you guys think? Is that, should I go? That felt pretty good, but let's just a little bit of, yeah, all right. I gotta get that hole lined up to the cotter pin. Come on now. Here we go. That'll do. All Alright, now this side of the boot here, well, it's real easy to just slip back on. Just grab this little clip here and slide it on over. Just like that. You remember this other side I was talking about? And I thought we got a new boot and I thought we were going to have a new clip. Well, we don't. So we are going to see if we can just make do here. Maybe even just reuse this old metal clip. And I'll show you how we're thinking of doing that. So remember that part that we kind of dinged up with the screwdriver to get it off? Well, go ahead and just kind of straighten that out a little bit. Well, the whole thing's pretty much round, and we're going to get some pliers on that. Special pliers here. I have a set at my home garage for the sprinkler system at the house. Kind of fortunate, I guess. And just clamp her on down, just like that. She's good as old. That's not going nowhere. Just throw a little grease fitting on the top of that guy there, and these are a 7mm. They don't need to really be tight. They just have to be snugged down. I think that's good. And these come pre-greased, but you know, I think it's the right thing to do to throw a little bit of grease into them. Wouldn't you know it, I ran out of grease, and well, it's a good time to talk about what grease I use. Extreme Pressure Super Lithium Moly Grease. Master Pro is just a cheap brand that O'Reilly's like to carry, and an LGI number 2. I use that for pretty much everything on the suspension, so it works for me, but comment below and tell me what you use. Now when you're loading these grease guns, lock your handle back. Slam the open side down into there. I think it's even got, yep, look at that. It's even got an arrow. It tells you that's the way it wants to go. And then remove that little seal. I just use a little screwdriver. Put it on here. Tighten her on down. Close that handle back in. And there you go. Now you're good to go. You can start greasing again. And so back to our outer tie rod here. And just cram that on there and grease until my heart's content. Starting to fill the boot there. And I think we're about there. I think that's where I'm gonna stop. Now look, we just did the driver's side. I just want to get this done, and I'm gonna do the passenger side off camera. So if you approve of me doing that, good. If not, too bad. But comment below. Did you really want to see both sides of this, or is one enough? It's the same on both, so I don't know. I'll show you the tape measure alignment though when I'm done. Okay, tape measure alignment. All you do, cram the tape measure under where the tread on the front of the tire meets the pavement there. Same thing on this side. Look at your measurement. What are we, about 78.5? And on the back side of the tires here, same kind of thing. What do we got? Come on now, camera, you gotta focus. About 78 5/8, which means we have about a 1/8 of an inch of toe in. Maybe a little bit less, because it's not quite 5/8. Do a little bit of a road test here. Let's see how straight this thing goes. Well, that's not too bad. Drives pretty straight. Still needs an alignment, of course. Let you know how far off we are when we get that done. Well, there you go. That's how you do some tie rods. You can do just the outers. I guess you could do just the inners, but you might as well do the outers if you're doing the inners. You can remove it as one piece like I did, or you can take the outer off first and take the boot off and then the inner. That's a little easier. Thought I had new boots, but check the box next time. Or maybe the receipt. Either way, they got them done and our alignment's not too bad. Maybe we'll show you the results there when we're all said and done with it, but hope this helped you out. As always, thanks for watching.